coming this fall.
All rise.
Please raise your right hand.
I've been a lawyer.
The man,
I've been a big city mayor.
the myth,
And you've probably seen me on TV at some point.
the legend.
But you've never seen me quite like this. You feel me? No, I'm not going to feel you. That's the other show.
Court is in session.
I'm going sidewalk to sidewalk. I also drew a diagram.
Can we get a close-up?
Judge Jerry.
Yes, the man, the myth, the legend, and the man who changed the face of daytime talk shows. Heading to court, he's taken his wit and charm to his new show, Judge Jerry. Please welcome to People Now, Jerry Springer. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how's your morning going so far?
Well, I'm not in the obituaries, so
I know, we hear that you check the obituaries every morning.
the first thing I do when I get up, and it's kind of, well, if you're, I'm 75, and when you're this old, all these stars you grew up with, you know, my sports heroes, movie heroes or whatever, they're obviously 10, 20 years older than me. So they're all going now.
So you want to know.
Yeah, it's like, I'm alone.
Well, you're not alone. You got a lot going on. In
Yeah.
fact, you recently had this other television milestone. You participated in Celebrity Family Feud. Before we get to your show, I just want to talk about that.
Sure.
How'd you prepare for the Feud? That's
Yes.
such a fun show. Steve Harvey does such a great job.
He's wonderful, and it was a lot of fun. And we were up against Doug Flutie's family.
Okay.
And yeah, he's a great guy. Had a lovely family, and they won.
Oh, okay.
We were on the air most of the time because we were getting most of the answers. But at the
Deliberating,
end,
yeah.
I didn't realize the strategy. Well, you know, they just come in for the last question. If they get the last question right, they steal all your points.
It's a game of strategy.
So we were the losers.
There's always an answer or a category that kind of turns heads. Was there one that really stumped your family, or that was the head turner?
Yeah, well, it wasn't my real family. It was my show family.
Yeah, the show family.
Yeah, the show family. And, yeah, well, we had, my assistant, Jenna, was on the show. And she, there was a question about what people do in Vegas. And, and she said, well, they have nookie. And I'm thinking, what generation were you born in? Okay,
Was the answer there?
Well, no.
No, of course not.
No, and God love her, you know, she's a very happy, young, very professional young lady who's just recently married. But why would you use the term nookie?
Yeah, that nookie.
Yeah, and so she's backstage now and is really angry at me.
Is she? She's over there somewhere.
Just keep this interview going.
Okay, we'll keep it moving along.
All right, after 27 years, the Jerry
Yes.
Springer Show has come to an end. What are you going to miss the most?
Other than the trip to the bank,
Yeah.
no, the people. The people. It's the most fun job, and I'll tell you why. If we go out, so let's say we went out to dinner, and I'd say, how was your day? And for most people, how was your day? And they'd say, well, it was a tough day at the office. Oh, a funny thing happened at the water cooler. And then they say, well, Jerry, how was your day? And I'll say, well, I had this guy who married his horse. I'm always going to have the better story. So why wouldn't you have wanted my job? Every day it was something stupid. And it was just, you know, so it was a fun job. And, you know, I'm very lucky that it worked out so well. But now I'm having this show, which really brings my life into a circle, because I started out as a lawyer, and it's really the only thing I was trained to do. And now I wind up being a judge. So this is kind of cool. I've really enjoyed. We've already taped some cases. The show started yesterday, so and it did well. So
Yeah,
hopefully
you've had
it continues.
such a great long career. Looking back, even especially at the Jerry Springer Show, what's the number one thing that you've learned about people?
We're all the same. You know, some of us just dress better. and I'm actually serious about that, because my whole life I've been dealing with regular people. They aren't famous, they aren't rich, they aren't powerful. They're just regular people that are involved in a tough situation at the moment. And once in a while, we look down at these people. We get very elitist. We say, oh, they're trash. Look, doesn't even have a full mouth of teeth, you know, and all this stuff we say about them. And yet, you take celebrities who do the exact same things, are involved in the exact same scandals, and we put them on late night television, and we can't wait to buy their books, see their movies, buy their albums. They're heroes to us.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
And the people that appear on my old show, We call them trash? Really? What's the difference? It's only that celebrities are better looking or
Status.
better, or, you know, or
Wow.
Have
richer.
the money or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, many of us lucked out, maybe in the gene pool of parents, or maybe we were born with a better brain or better health, or whatever the reason is, we got lucky. And a lot of these people didn't get lucky, but I love the fact that they can be in a free society, they can be on television and talk about what is important in their life. And you know what? God bless them. They want to talk about that, something they're angry about. Who are we to say, you're not smart enough to be on television? You don't speak the Queen's English. No,
Yeah.
they should be on like everyone else.
I'm curious, what does your wife make of your career, especially the Jerry Springer Show?
She thinks I sell insurance. I never. We've been married 46 years. I never told her I'm Jerry Springer. What, are you crazy?
Does she tune in?
No, my old show, the Jerry Springer Show, we've been on for 27 years. About 5 years ago, in the middle of the show, the executive producer calls me over and says, Mickey's on the line. And I go, oh my God, because she's never ever called me during a show. And you know, when you get a call from home, you think, oh my.
Something
so I
bad,
say,
right?
Is everything okay? And you know, I rushed to the side and to the phone, and she says, oh my God. I said, what? She says, she took off her blouse. I said, what are you talking about? She says, I've just watched your show. Is this what everyone complains about?
They just
How
saw it
can
finally.
we be married all these years and you never watch my show?
You don't know what's going on here?
You never see it? No, it's not, you know.
That's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, so she, you know, she likes when I'm on political shows and stuff like that.
Well, let's talk about this show now.
Yeah.
This insight that you bring, this past with the law and everything else into Judge Jerry. How'd the show come about?
It's about a month before I stopped taping the Jerry Springer Show. And Sean O'Boyle, who's the head of sales for NBC, he comes into the office. It's a 2-minute conversation. He says, you got a moment? Yeah. And he comes in, he shuts the door, and he says, would you do a court show? And I said, well, yeah, you'd be a judge. You're a lawyer. Why don't you do a court show? So I took 12, 14 seconds and said, okay. And that's how it came about. And I love doing it. It's the first grown-up job I've had in 30 years.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like we do 30 to 35 cases a week.
Whoa.
And then every other week. And the off week is when I have to study the cases because these cases come from all over the country. So I have to know the law in the particular state where the
You're
case is
really
filed.
doing it. What kind of cases
Yeah.
are you taking on mostly?
It's small claims, so the award has to be $5,000 or less.
Right.
But it's car accidents, landlord-tenant, personal relationships, shooting of a dog,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Things like
Yeah,
that, yeah.
these are the cases we get. And
What's been your most colorful case so far?
well, actually, because I know what you were just interviewing before, there was, and I'm trying to make this fast. There was a fellow went up in a small town in Minnesota and was plowing the snow for his mom at his mom's house, and he brought his dog with him. The dog just ran over. It was a lot of snow to the next property. The couple there sees this dog, doesn't know who the dog is, and the dog is barking at them and scaring them, so they run in the house, they lock the door. I don't know why they locked the door, the dog wasn't going to unlock it. And they opened the window, took out a shotgun and shot the dog. Didn't kill the dog, just shot the back legs. And because of the snow, a blood trail was left as the dog crawled back to the plaintiff, to the people who owned the dog. They filed suit for the damages, $5,000 for the vet bills. And the tough thing about that case is, obviously, what the heck are you doing shooting a dog? If you're scared of a dog, and people are, you go inside. You call the next door neighbor. Is that your dog? You call 911, whatever. There's another way to deal with it. You don't shoot the dog. So obviously, the first instinct is I'm going to give $5,000 to the plaintiff. She's right. He shouldn't have shot the dog. But that town in Minnesota has a leash ordinance. And you say, well, it's just a leash ordinance. But
That's
the reason
deciding factor.
The reason you have a leash ordinance is so that these things don't happen. Normally, it's a dog biting someone. However, you have to balance what the law is and what seems just.
And reasonable,
Now,
right?
And reasonable. And if you balance the two, violating the leash law, even though it would have prevented this accident, is not as significant a crime as shooting the dog, as far as I'm concerned. So I ruled in favor of the plaintiff. I just didn't give her the full $5,000. I think I wound up giving her $4,000.
Like that. Judge Jerry rules right here. And the whole process, we just see it play out. By the way, I used to be a huge fan. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this to you. I used to be a huge fan of Judge Judy.
Yes.
Still a huge fan. Do you know her? Have you consorted with her about like strategy, kind of taking on, swift justice?
No, I know her. She's a lovely lady, very smart, and has been only nice to me. But no, I haven't spoken to anybody about how to do it. I think the key is she's the best. And the times that I have seen her show is she's a disciplinarian, very strict, very tough, boom. That's a different personality than mine. And what distinguishes these court shows from each other is the personality of the judge. And my personality is more different. It is different, not more different.
Yeah.
It's different. So I tend to view whoever I have in front of me, the parties, as how would I talk to my child or how would I talk to my grandson? If I am disciplining them, and I would explain it. In other words, I never want to be mean. I never just want to say, that's it. So before I make my decision, I always explain to them why I'm deciding the way I am. So it's more of a fatherly approach maybe than it is to the strict judge approach.
Okay.
And that's and then I joke around in the middle because I can't help it.
Yeah, just talking to you, I'm so excited for this show. You mentioned the dog case before, and we were also talking about the Janelle Evans, David Easton case where he shot her dog. What is your take on that case specifically?
I'm not dodging it, but I don't know enough about the details. I just learned it watching your show.
Yeah.
Well, we will circle back with you after you find out more.
Yeah, because I really liked your approach to the whole situation when you were describing your case.
I do think we have to recognize that the moral answer, we all have the same view of justice. I mean, when I say all, 99% of people, if you give them a fact situation, no politics involved, just what's the fair thing, from a 7th grader on to a senior citizen, we all come out on the same side. We all know. We all go, oh, at some time, or oh, we know what's right. But then there are the laws. And the laws are usually to enforce what is right, but not always. Because there are things that go into making a law, like who's behind the legislators that passed it, what was their motive.
Right.
So not every law is fair and just. I mean, we had laws for years that promoted segregation. So we know what is
not
more
fair and just, right? Yeah.
So not every law. So therefore, you start out with what is right, what is the just thing, what would you do if that was your kid? That is the right answer. And now you look for a law that it fits into. And you try to find that balance.
Makes sense. By the way, I know people follow you, and that maybe people have followed your political career or whatever. I love hearing the thoughtful lawyer, Jerry Springer. Fantastic. We learned that your gavel has some significance. Tell us about that. Your gavel was made by your wife's sister, I think? Or?
My brother-in-law, my wife's sister's husband.
Okay. Made the gavel.
He made the gavel. He chopped down a tree on his own property. And he made a gavel for me. It's beautiful.
Very cool.
It's beautiful.
We can't wait to see it in action.
Yeah.
It's great to talk to you. Yeah, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Hey, thanks. You guys are nice.
Yeah, guys, check out Judge Jerry. It airs weekdays on NBC. You can check your local listings.